not something that I ever envisioned with this team, having to go in and talk to them, after losing the first round.
27 for Rudy Gobert.
We missed wide open threes. We missed a couple shots at the rim.
Wow, a blown miss bunny by Luka. Minnesota is going to win this series and knock out the Lakers 4-1. Shocking here.
Since my first NBA Finals appearance, I think in 2007, every season that I did not make it to the finals or did not win a championship has been a disappointment.
All right, why the Timberwolves beat the Lakers is what we're talking about. When they beat them is easy to figure out. The fourth quarter belonged to Minnesota in this series, outscoring the Lakers by 42 points in the period, winning all 5 fourth quarters in the series. The Lakers shot 29% in the fourth quarter in this series. It's the worst by any team in a single postseason since we started keeping track of that stuff 28 years ago. And so, as we are delighted you're getting up with us this morning, look at the crew we have put together to talk basketball this morning. We got a 6-box. Hey, Scott Hansen, what do you think of that? You can't match it. You get all excited about a quad box. I got a 6-box working here this morning, including the big fella, Kendrick Perkins, in the upper left of your screen, who just joins us here, and you're the new voice in this. Big Perk, we're talking about how the Lakers played this series. The Timberwolves are going on. They'll get either Minnesota or Golden State. They're going to have a chance to try and play for a championship. The Lakers season comes to an end, and today's only May 1st. If you're putting your finger on the biggest reason why, Big Perk, what is it?
Oh, no, Greeny. No, Greeny. I need to hear from Jay Will. I need to hear from Jay Will first. I need to hear from Jay Will because I want to see if he go tiptoe around this subject. I want to see if he go tiptoe around this subject. I need to hear it first. I need to hear it from him. Is he go keep it real? He go tiptoe and straddle the fence.
Tiptoe around what?
I'm saying, I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Who's to blame for the Lakers losing this series?
Big Perk, I'm the wrong one on the table to talk about Duke on Duke crime. You know that more than anybody.
So we're talking about...
I've been exiled outside of Cameron Indoor Stadium before for doing this. Come on now.
So you're blaming the coach,
Okay,
Big Perk.
that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to hear. That's the energy I wanted to hear. You damn right I'm blaming JJ Redick. You damn right. Mr. JJ Redick, I know more about basketball than anybody else in the world. Mr. JJ Redick, where the world is watching and could see that you need some type of size and athleticism on the floor when you're going against a physical, lengthy Minnesota team who has Rudy Gobert, Julius Randle, Nas Reed, Jay McDaniels, that imposes their will in the paint. But you still leave this small ball lineup out there on the floor and leave a 40-year-old senior citizen in LeBron James to battle in the trenches for a 7-game series that went 5. Listen, I just don't understand it for the life of me. This is not about X's and O's and schemes. This was common sense. You needed to make an adjustment.
Michael Wilbon, Brian Windhorst touched on it earlier this morning, and now Big Perk is all over it. In your opinion, Wilbon, how much blame for what happened in this series does JJ Redick deserve?
You know what, Greeny, I've heard you talk about this for a couple of days now. We talk about coaches' decisions. And I'm not going to use the word blame. I'm going to use the word responsibility, though, accountability. There's a lot of, again, the Laker roster was flawed. I agree with Perk and Wendy about sort of this defiance, if you will. I mean, Jackson Hayes you got to at least try him. When I see a player trot out there who I forgot was on the roster because he hasn't logged any minutes and much less practice time, I want to see Jackson Hayes. I want to see you try it. Rudy Gobert had averaged 6 points and 3 points and 6 rebounds a game in the series. He goes for 27 and 24. I understand. Okay, you can make the case if you want that you're also, by allowing that, the defense is allowing Rudy Gobert to have this so you don't let Anthony Edwards get crazy with threes. He and Dante DiVincenzo, my God, they were like 0 for the world on threes, the two of them. I think they were like 2 for 23. You can make that argument. I'm not going to support that. I'm with Jay Will on it. I'm not going to blame him. There's a lot wrong with these Lakers, okay, right now in terms of the other teams in the playoffs in the West. But JJ's got to be accountable. He's responsible for those decisions and the gambles he took and failed taking.
You're 100% right on the numbers, by the way. DiVincenzo and Anthony Edwards combined last night, 2 of 23 from three-point range. JJ Redick.
So then the problem is the scheme, because when you blitz Anthony Edwards, what that does is now all of a sudden you're in a 4-on-3 scenario. What does that do when a shot goes up? It allows you to get offensive rebounds. It's not like they were throwing the ball down to Rudy Gobert and he's giving you buckets on the block with his back to the basket. He got a ton of offensive rebounds. They got 18 offensive rebounds last night. That's what led to the 27 and 24, right? Look, I think there are things that if JJ Redick can go back in time, he'll make slight adjustments. But also, and Big Perk, just back to your point on this, you were the one on one of these shows, I forget which one it was, because you were on a lot of shows, but you said if there was one matchup that was a really bad matchup for the Lakers, it was Minnesota because of how they grind you out. I'm just not sure that Jackson Hayes is even the answer to help you in that situation, considering the size and the physicality that they had.
Go ahead, Perk.
Well, it started in Game 4. It started in Game 4 when JJ elected to play the same 5 for 24 straight minutes. That's when it all started, when you have a high-motor 6'9", 6'10" guy in Jared Vanderbilt who could cause havoc defensively. When you have a guy, Gabe Vincent, on your bench who, by the way, helped the Miami Heat a few years ago go to the NBA Finals, was a crucial piece, you lost trust in those guys. So what I'm saying is, yes, it's a lot of things that JJ could have corrected, right? You talk about the zone and the trapping of Anthony Edwards. Guess what, JJ? He figured it out since Game 1. He wasn't forcing anything. He was making the right decision, making the right pass. We heard Rudy talk about it after the game last night. He said Anthony Edwards played exceptional. Although he shot 5 for 19, he trusted the others. And then let me tell you this. See, JJ's scheme of going small was all about offense because they thought they was going to pick on Rudy. But Rudy actually been playing some pretty damn good basketball this entire series. Last night it just showed up in the box score. But his one-on-one defense was off the charts this entire series. The Lakers shot 28% when he was the primary defender. So that didn't work. So what I'm saying is, yes, he dropped the ball. And where's Damien Woody at? He's still here?
He's right here. D-Wood's right here.
Can Woody hear me?
Yes.
I hear you. I'm right here.
Hey, Woody, you know how hard it is, man, as one of the greats, a Super Bowl champion, to be in the trenches on that damn offensive line, and how much energy it takes out of you when you're on that football field. Imagine when you having to bang down low, box out for rebounds, and then you're asked to do something else offensively. And last but not least, and I know I'm going long, Greeny, damn it, I miss you, and I'm here to preach the gospel to this morning.
Yeah.
The last but not least, hold on, hear me out on this. When I'm about LeBron James, people are criticizing him. That man left it all out there on the floor. At 40 years old, he was asked to guard Anthony Edwards at times, Jaden McDaniels at times, Julius Randle, who, by the way, balled out, Rudy Gobert. I mean, damn. And then you throw a zone out there to protect Luka. The zone was to protect Luka. And, Greeny, you read the stats early. He had 16, drive-bys, 9 blow-bys?
Yes.
Come on, man, what are we talking about? This was all on JJ.
Let me get Windy. We're going to lose Windy to the airport in a moment here. So let me get a last word from Brian Windhorst in this morning. Windy, what are the final words from you today on this morning after the Lakers make their exit?
Yeah, well, on Get Up Francais and on the pages of L'Equipe this morning, you're going to see this amazing story about Rudy Gobert and the full circle. Because you know how many times Rudy Gobert had to watch on this network Luka Doncic hitting a 3 over him and then saying he couldn't freaking guard him coming back down the court last year. That was what happened last night. It was Rudy Gobert telling the Lakers and Luka, you can't guard me. And they couldn't guard him because they didn't have the personnel, which is not JJ Redick's fault, and they didn't have the scheme, which was JJ Redick's fault. It's no one person's fault. The stars didn't play well. The team wasn't built well. The scheme wasn't deployed. That's how you lose in 5 as a 3 seed. All of those things are fixable. It's not the end of the world, but it's absolutely a disappointment. And today is a day for Rudy Gobert, one of the most disliked people in the NBA, to dance on the people that danced on him for the last year.
All right, that is perfectly said. And I will just remind everybody that while the Lakers were the 3 and Minnesota was the 6, the difference between them in the final standings was 1 game. We are back on Get Up, Wake Up Call. Mike Conley, the dagger, Kevin Harlan on the mic.
Edwards, 5 of 19. Cuts, drives, feed, Conley, 3. Good!
Why not?
Big hit. They had missed 18 in a row until that hit by Mike Conley.
I can't put into words how badly Minnesota shot the ball in this game and yet still won. They shot 7 of 47. And as far as the Lakers are concerned, it just seems to be going in the wrong direction. They've been knocked out in the first round each of the last 2 years. Overall, in their last 3 playoff series, they've won just 2 of 14 games. And so we'll try and reset it. We've got a jam-packed show this morning. I've got so many people here, and I want to make sure everyone gets their chance to get in. Bobby Marks joins us from a front office perspective as we'll contemplate what it is the Lakers can do this offseason. But Wilbon, let me come back to you here because you can feel sort of the energy that is on the show this morning. I think people feel frustrated watching the Lakers because they are the Lakers, and because there was something magical about the possibility that we could see LeBron and Luka go on some sort of deep run. In the end, for those who were just joining us, what is the reason that their season came to such a quick close if you're putting your finger in one direction?
Most of us overrated the Lakers for what they are now. And Wendy was good about this on day 1 of the trade for Luka. It's for later. Now, once they decided to rescind the trade, as a Mark Williams, once they decided to do that and have no size, then they're limited. And it limits the moves that the roster can make, that JJ Redick can make, and even then, he limited himself, as Perk points out, in terms of personnel decision. That's his call, and it's a gamble that failed, period. So you have that in part. You also have a new team, and it takes time. Remember, the Minnesota Timberwolves, while they made some changes, and Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo, the Minnesota Timberwolves as a team were fully formed that eliminated the defending champs a year ago. Mm-hmm. So the notion that Minnesota was somehow going to upset the Lakers, that was flawed, period. It was interesting talking to Julius Randle about that postgame last night. And they're all saying, wait a minute, he's joining something that's fully formed, a mature playoff team that had some success. These Lakers with Luka in that dominant role had not, but the Lakers got to make some changes, not just in terms of personnel, which they will make, but in style of play, ISO basketball, Luka Doncic dribbling the air out of the ball for 14 seconds while everybody else just sort of stands around. No, that's not going to be sustainable in a Western Conference where you have so many dynamic young players coming aboard and teams getting better and evolving. They got a lot of work to do, not just with the roster, but philosophy and how they're going to go about this starting next season.
But Big Perk, isn't that kind of what Luka does, right? That's Luka's game, and the point was made earlier. Dallas put a roster around him last year to allow him to do what he does best and to the best they could cover up his shortcomings. So now what? What are the right things to say this morning, Big Perk, about Luka Doncic?
Well, I mean, he's found the perfect home, because here's the thing. We know history tells us 2 things. Number one, the Lakers, they're built for us winning championships. One of the most historic franchises in sports. Okay, but number 2, the Lakers are also about show and money. They're about filling seats and putting butts in seats and putting jerseys on backs. They have their international superstar, Luka Doncic. So whether they win a championship or not, Luka is going to deliver every regular season and put up points, MVP-type numbers. He's going to sell jerseys. He's going to fill up seats. Guess who's going to be happy? Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka, even if he don't deliver a championship. Another thing that we know about the Los Angeles Lakers is this. They don't lose their superstars once they get them. Mm-hmm. From Magic to Kareem to Cole to now Braun, Yeah, they lost Shaq, but that was probably the only one. Luka's going to retire Laker. They're going to sign him. He's going to retire Laker, and I don't believe he's going to deliver a championship to L.A. Just me being honest.
They traded Shaq, by the way, to be clear. They didn't lose him. They traded, and they made the decision to separate the two of them. D. Wood, that did not sit well with the Laker fans seated directly to my right.
Perk, put Perk back on the screen, please. Yeah. Perk, what the hell are you talking about with this whole jersey and international stuff? Damn it, we're the Lakers. That mandate is always championship or bust. I don't care about jersey sales, people sitting in seats. It's about championships with the Lakers. That's what my expectations are, and that's what fans of the Lakers' expectations are. So I don't want to hear this whole nonsense about, oh, well, Jeannie Buss, she got her international superstar, who's going to sell all these jerseys and all that. I don't care about all of that. What I care about is Luka getting his behind in shape. What I care about is going out and making moves and putting more athletic players on this Lakers team and getting the big so we have a true opportunity to win a championship. Because what you just told me right now is just fluff. I don't want to hear it.
Bobby in here. Perk, I promise I'll get back to you, but I'm trying to get everybody a chance. Bobby, we've talked a lot about what the Lakers need to do. The question is, what can they do? No one knows this stuff better than you do. The day any team is eliminated, you start posting all the different things. What can the Lakers do to put themselves in a position where next year on May 1st, we're not talking about the end of their season?
Yeah, I feel like I'm the Undertaker, right? Whenever a team loses, we basically put out their obituary here. And I think for the Lakers, it's like there's a to-do list. The LeBron player option is going to hang over the organization for the next month as far as what he does for the future here. He's got to June 29th. I think the Lakers tipped their hand at the trade deadline. Rob Pelinka made that trade with Charlotte. He traded Dalton Knecht, a 2031 first, a pick swap. That package is going to be out there this summer to upgrade the center position. They've got all these sweet spot contracts, Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, Dorian Finney-Smith. Those players certainly can be moved in a deal. I think the one thing to keep an eye on is August 2nd. That's when Luka is extension eligible, 4 for $229. And here's the big question for the group. If you're Luka, the big question you're asking is, what does this roster look like when LeBron James is not on his team anymore? And I think the Lakers have to show him what it's going to be like. It can't be just we're the Lakers and we'll figure it out. And I would circle that August 2nd date, certainly. So there's a lot of work to do for the Lakers here.
That is the question that people should, or the point that people should be aware of, is that the Lakers cannot re-sign, and he cannot re-sign with them until August 2nd regardless. So all the other offseason moves they're going to make this offseason will get made one way or the other before he's even eligible to re-sign. Jay, go.
Well, I think if you're going to build a contender around Luka, then you have to set up your personnel around his deficiencies. And I guess, that, look, you can be done that way. I don't think that makes Laker fans as excited, just because I think a lot of Laker fans have known their best players to be guys that have had effort. I mean, we're talking about the best players in the league. Have you seen one of the best players in the league look that horrid defensively?
I understand what you're saying, and that's why Michael Wilbon said this morning that he never votes him in the top 3 of MVP.
Doesn't mean that you can't win a championship. It's just like if you're saying, here are the keys, this is your team, then essentially you're saying you have to construct it the way Dallas constructed it back then.
Right.
You have to do it that way.
That's exactly
the only way to do it.
If you're going to try and build a title team around Luka Doncic, you have to actually build that team around Luka Doncic, and that is a very specific formula, and I think there's zero question but that they're going to try to do it.
All I'm saying, Green, he's been playing the same way since he's been 14 years old.
Right.
He's been pros for 12 years. Is that the philosophy that you want to play if you're the Lakers?
Well, they're going to re-sign him, and he might get in better shape. That would be ideal, but the way he plays offense is not going to change. So they're going to have to figure that out. All right.
Try to boast at what I look like. Keep them down, try to wear, I pull up all range. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's NBA, I'm ESPN.